Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, unbelievable finds, and valuable treasures that could be hiding right in your pocket change. And today, we're taking an extraordinary journey into the mysterious and highly valuable world of the 1964 1-cent coin, a coin that at face value seems like just another ordinary penny, but due to a unique combination of errors, minting mistakes, and historical oddities, it has become a sought-after collectible. In the numismatic world, with some specimens commanding prices of up to $50,000 or even more depending on condition, provenance, and error severity, and by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why this particular coin, minted over half a century ago, has skyrocketed in value and why collectors, investors, and even amateur coin hunters are scouring their collections and rolls of pennies in search of the elusive 1964-era cent that has transformed itself from a humble piece of copper to a potential fortune for the lucky few who possess it. So grab your coin jars and magnifying glasses because this is one deep dive you don't want to miss. And it all starts with understanding the year 1964 itself, a time when the United States Mint was undergoing various changes, struggling with coin shortages, adjusting to rising metal costs, and rapidly minting coins to meet growing national demand. Especially with the looming switch in 1965 that would begin phasing out silver from coins and increase the production of base metal currency. But even though the penny remained copper-based, the sheer volume of production combined with equipment issues, die wear, planchet inconsistencies, and human error resulted in a number of highly collectible and bizarre mint errors that now make certain 1964 pennies a treasure trove for collectors. And when it comes to the types of mistakes that push these coins into the realm of extreme value, we're talking about doubled dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, planchet errors, transitional issues, and rare varieties like the 1964D with repunched mint marks, and the 1964 Philadelphia strikes with severe doubling that affects both the obverse and reverse, particularly the date, motto, Lincoln's profile, and the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," with some examples showing dramatic doubling that's clearly visible to the naked eye and therefore highly desirable. And then there are examples of the coins struck on the wrong planchet altogether, such as foreign coin blanks or even leftover blanks from previous years or denominations, resulting in off-metal errors that are exceedingly rare but have been authenticated in a few astonishing cases, each one commanding massive premiums at auction. And another fascinating subset of the 1964 1-cent coin is the misaligned die strike, which occurs when the hammer die and anvil die are not properly aligned, causing the image to be struck off-center or rotated in a way that produces overlapping or skewed designs, and the most extreme versions of this error can result in partial images or warped lettering, creating one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for, especially if the coin remains in relatively uncirculated condition. And we must not forget about the broad strike errors where the coin was struck outside of the retaining collar, causing it to expand beyond normal diameter, and sometimes even warp the lettering and imagery in a way that's both unusual and highly valuable. And of course we have the infamous die cap errors, which happen when a coin sticks to the upper die and repeatedly strikes other planchets, creating a mushroom-like layered effect that is extremely rare and spectacular in appearance. And let's not overlook the importance of repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, particularly in the Denver Mint issues where the D was hand-punched into the die and occasionally punched more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in visible overlapping of the mint mark that can dramatically increase value, especially when the doubling is prominent and well-defined. And while minor RPMs can be worth a few $100s, the more dramatic and clean examples have broken the $10,000 mark at auctions, and when you factor in the grade and eye appeal of the coin, the values only go up. As coins graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC can fetch exponentially higher prices than circulated examples. And then there's the fascinating realm of die clashes, where two dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring partial design elements from one die onto the other, and when a normal coin is struck afterward, it bears ghost-like images of the opposite side of the coin. leading to eerie and highly collectible errors that only occur under rare circumstances and often remain in the die for only a few strikes before being corrected, making them even more scarce and desirable. And, speaking of scarce, we can't ignore the transitional errors which happen when the mint transitions from one design, metal content, or dimension to another and planchets or dies from the previous year mistakenly remain in use. And although less common with the 1964 penny compared to other years like 1982 with the copper to zinc transition, there are reports of 1964 cents struck on pre-1963 planchets, or on planchets with different alloy compositions, leading to minor weight differences or unusual surface colors detectable under specific lighting or magnification, which has been confirmed in a small handful of cases and commands incredible premiums due to their unique nature, and even the basic visual appearance of the coin can be an indicator of its potential value, as some 1964 cents feature satin or proof-like finishes, sometimes due to test strikes or unintentional polishing of dies. And while the Philadelphia Mint did not officially produce proof pennies in 1964, some examples with unusual mirror-like surfaces or deeply reflective fields have shown up, hinting at the possibility of unofficial or experimental proof strikes that somehow escaped into circulation, and if certified by top grading companies as having cameo or deep cameo proof-like qualities, their value skyrockets even further. And then there are those mysterious coins with unknown origins that spark endless debate among experts. Coins with unlisted varieties or bizarre physical anomalies that suggest unique production circumstances. And while these often require extensive third-party authentication, they can become the holy grail of a collection when verified. And we also have to talk about the sheer number of known varieties and subtypes within the 1964 cent population, as the year saw over 6.4 billion pennies minted at Philadelphia and over 3.8 billion at Denver. Meaning the chances for mistakes were high and the diversity of errors is immense, and experienced collectors are still discovering new varieties, some with minute details like floating roofs on the Lincoln Memorial reverse, misformed letters, or tilted devices which point to either die degradation or misalignments, all of which add to the value, especially if they're part of a previously undocumented error. And as we continue to explore all these incredible error types, it becomes increasingly clear that the 1964 1-cent coin, though mass-produced and common in circulated condition, contains a universe of hidden gems that, with the right eye and a bit of luck, could be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. And with today's tools like coin microscopes, metal analyzers, and high-resolution grading services, coin hunters and collectors are better equipped than ever to uncover these anomalies. And it's no wonder that stories continue to emerge of individuals discovering these valuable coins in old jars, inherited collections, or even from bank rolls purchased for face value, turning a 1-cent investment into a multi-thousand-dollar windfall. And the thrill of the hunt is what keeps the numismatic community so passionate, because the potential to find a life-changing coin still exists in circulation today, and there's something magical about knowing that a small, copper coin minted over 60 years ago might hold secrets that even the U.S. Mint never intended to release, and whether it's a spectacular doubled die, a jaw-dropping off-metal strike, a beautifully defined repunched mint mark, or a mysterious transitional error, every 1964 penny holds the possibility of being something far more valuable than it first appears. So next time you see a penny dated 1964, don't just toss it aside or assume it's worthless. Take a closer look, because you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable error coins in American history. And as always, keep hunting, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a penny. And now, shifting gears to another remarkable piece of small-denomination American currency that has stunned collectors and casual finders alike, we turn our attention to the 1979 1-cent coin, a penny that at first glance appears completely ordinary and ubiquitous, minted in large quantities for general circulation with seemingly no intrinsic rarity. Yet due to an extremely rare combination of striking errors, die variations, planchet abnormalities, and transitional confusion, select examples of the 1979 Lincoln cent have sold or been appraised for upwards of $40,000, catapulting this humble coin into the elite tier of high-value modern numismatic finds. And if you thought a penny from 1979 was too recent to hold any real collector value, you're in for an eye-opening discovery, because while most 1979 cents are only worth face value or perhaps a few cents in circulated condition, there exists a hidden tier of rare varieties that have left seasoned collectors amazed and auction houses shocked by their final sale prices. And the first thing to understand about the 1979 penny is that it was produced in massive numbers by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with over 6.2 billion coins coming from Philadelphia and nearly 4.1 billion from Denver. And while that massive production volume would normally work against rarity, it actually set the stage for a high number of mint errors due to overworked dyes, rushed quality control, and the necessity of using older and often degraded tooling, which led to the creation of significant doubled dyes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and the elusive off-metal errors that collectors covet. And one of the most famous and valuable varieties from 1979 is the dramatic double die obverse, which can show strong doubling in the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and particularly in the word liberty, where clear notching and ghosting can be observed under magnification or even with the naked eye in more extreme cases. And these double die obverse coins, when verified by leading third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC and preserved in mint state condition, can reach five-figure values at auction due to their extreme scarcity and strong visual appeal. But that's just one layer of the 1979 penny story, because another variety that has gained tremendous interest is the transitional planchet error, where some pennies were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or older blank types, such as bronze planchets that were supposed to have been fully phased out by this point in favor of a slightly different copper alloy. And even more rare are the coins that were struck on dime planchets, resulting in smaller, thinner pennies with incomplete design strikes due to the size mismatch. And these oddities are instantly recognizable and fetch staggering prices because of their unmistakable minting anomalies and rarity. And then there are the off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet is not properly seated in the striking chamber, causing the coin to be struck partially or even dramatically off the center axis, with the most valuable versions retaining a full or nearly full date, while showing a significant portion of the design missing or shifted. And these kinds of errors are always in demand, especially when combined with mint state condition and clear details. And while off-center errors alone might bring in hundreds to low thousands depending on the severity, when combined with other errors such as doubled dies or unusual planchets, the values multiply drastically, sometimes exceeding $30,000 or $40,000 depending on provenance and the auction market at the time. And the Denver Mint also played its part in creating valuable 1979 penny varieties, particularly through repunched mint marks, or RPMs, where the D mint mark was hand-punched into the die and occasionally punched more than once, leading to overlapping impressions that range from subtle shadows to dramatic, highly visible duplications. And these RPMs, while not as extreme in appearance as doubled dies, still command significant premiums, especially when part of a mint state or red-colored specimen. And it's important to note that color and surface condition play a massive role in value determination, with coins graded as RD, red, at MS65 or higher being worth exponentially more than brown or even red-brown examples, due to the increased difficulty in preserving copper coins in such pristine condition over decades. And speaking of condition, the absolute top-end coins, those that combine an ultra-rare error with near-perfect mint state preservation, original red luster, and third-party certification, are the true unicorns of the 1979 cent world. And these are the coins that have been known to break the $40,000 mark, especially when two or more major errors occur on the same coin, such as a doubled die on an off-metal planchet, or a dramatic die clash on a full red uncirculated coin. And another noteworthy 1979 cent variety includes the die clash error, where dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of the opposite design elements on subsequent coins, creating eerie mirror images of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's profile or outlines of Lincoln's bust beneath the memorial. And these types of coins, while not always immediately visible to the naked eye, can be detected under magnification and authenticated by experts, leading to strong values, particularly in combination with other abnormalities. And while most casual collectors might overlook these coins in a jar of old change, those who know what to look for, such as the orientation of the clash, presence of ghosted letters, or distortions in the fields, can identify potential treasure right at home, and even minor errors like die chips, cuds, or weak strikes have been known to increase value significantly when positioned in visually interesting or thematic locations, such as forming a so-called drooling Lincoln effect or creating distortions on Lincoln's eye or mouth that give the coin a comical or monstrous appearance, which in turn becomes popular among novelty collectors and drives up niche demand. And perhaps one of the most bizarre and exciting errors seen on 1979 cents is the mule error. A freak occurrence where a coin is struck with dies from two different coin types or years, and while no confirmed 1979 mule has surfaced publicly as of now, rumors and unverifiable reports suggest that some transitional mules may exist, and if one were ever authenticated, it could easily become one of the most valuable U.S. cents in existence, potentially breaking six figures depending on the nature of the mule, and with technology and authentication techniques improving every year, the chance of new discoveries from the 1979 cent population grows, as collectors reevaluate old holdings with fresh eyes and new tools, and it's this continual re-examination of existing coins that fuels the treasure hunting spirit in the numismatic world, reminding us all that even the most common-looking penny could hold a valuable secret. And so, as we've seen with the 1964 cent before it, and now the incredible 1979 penny, history, minting chaos, and collector curiosity have all converged to create a fascinating chapter in coin collecting that proves you don't need gold or silver to have real value. And the next time you come across a penny dated 1979, don't dismiss it, inspect it for doubling, check the edges for off-metal features, weigh it if possible to test for planchet discrepancies, and look closely at the mint mark, because with the right knowledge and a little luck, you could uncover a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars, making it more than just a cent. It could be your gateway into a hidden fortune and an exciting journey into the rare and surprising world of modern U.S. coinage. Continuing our deep dive into the most astonishingly valuable pennies hiding in plain sight, we now turn our focus to the 1981 1 cent coin, a seemingly everyday Lincoln penny minted in the final stretch before one of the most important compositional changes in U.S. coinage history, the switch from a primarily copper alloy to a copper-plated zinc core that began midway through 1982. But this 1981 cent, struck at the Denver Mint in the year just prior, has earned a reputation among advanced collectors and error specialists as one of the most deceptive and potentially valuable 1 cent coins of the modern era, with certain known error specimens and rare varieties fetching prices as high as $20,000 when authenticated, properly graded, and matched with collector demand. And the reasons behind this impressive valuation stem from a convergence of rarity, transitional confusion, minting errors, and the high-quality standards associated with Denver production, and understanding why this coin can command such high prices means digging into the nature of how the U.S. Mint operated in 1981, particularly the Denver facility, which produced more than 5.3 billion Lincoln cents that year. And while the majority of these coins are common and worth no more than face value, the vast production volume actually increases the odds of significant die wear, misalignments, and unnoticed errors being struck and released into circulation. And among the most prominent and valuable 1981 errors are the dramatic double die verse varieties, especially those that show strong doubling in the date, the word Liberty, and the motto, In God We Trust, which, while subtle in some specimens, appear with severe clarity in others, with notched serifs, shadowed outlines, and overlapping impressions that become even more pronounced under magnification. And when found on coins that retain their original red luster and grade in mint state 65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, these doubling errors can drive values into the 5-figure range, especially when the doubling is centered on multiple devices or extends into Lincoln's profile itself, And another category that makes the 1981 cent worth tens of thousands in rare cases involves off-metal errors and transitional planchet strikes. And although 1981 was still officially a copper-based year, planchet stock from other coin types or years sometimes found their way into the striking chambers, resulting in coins with strange weights, colorations, and metal content, including examples struck on foreign coin blanks, dime planchets, or even early test planchets prepared for the upcoming 1982 zinc transition. And while these coins may appear duller or lighter in color, their true value is only revealed through metallurgical testing and weight analysis, as standard 1981 cents should weigh about 3.11 grams. But transitional errors can register weights as low as 2.5 grams due to the lighter zinc core or differing foreign alloys. And when confirmed by third-party graders and paired with visible strike discrepancies such as partial rims, flat edges, or weak reverse details, their status as minting anomalies skyrockets their value. And then we have to consider the less dramatic but equally significant repunched mint mark varieties, or RPMs, where the DE mint mark was accidentally punched into the dime more than once at slightly different angles, resulting in overlapping or shadowed impressions. And although subtle and often missed by casual observers, these RPMs are hotly pursued by Lincoln cent variety collectors, especially when the repunching is bold and clear, and high-grade examples have sold for thousands on the strength of that minor mint error alone. And occasionally, these RPMs are found in combination with other die-state anomalies like die cracks, die chips, or ghost-like outlines caused by clashing or die fatigue, compounding the uniqueness of the coin and boosting its auction value considerably. And one of the most talked about and elusive error types for the 1981 penny involves coins that exhibit broad strikes and off-center errors, particularly those that are struck more than 50% off-center but still retain the full or partial date and mint mark. And these oddities are visually striking and clearly distinguishable even to an untrained eye, and their rarity, combined with strong demand from error collectors, has led to auction prices climbing into the $10,000 to $20,000 range for exceptional specimens, especially those with dramatic misalignments or unusual shapes caused by collar failure or improper die spacing, and some of the more bizarre specimens even display evidence of multiple strikes or striking over a previously struck planchet, leading to extreme distortions in Lincoln's profile, doubled reverses, or strange anomalies that turn the coin into a true minting freak of nature. And these multi-strike or die cap errors, when a coin becomes stuck to a die and continues to strike multiple other planchets, can produce stacked or pancaked effects that are highly coveted, especially if the design details from each strike are visible in layers. And while exceedingly rare, verified 1981 die caps with strong mint luster and full visible layering can breach the 5-figure threshold quickly, especially in specialist auctions or private collector sales. And as always, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value potential, because a rare error in circulated, scratched, or corroded condition may still be worth several hundred or even a few $1,000s, but that same error preserved in uncirculated mint red condition, graded MS65 or higher, becomes exponentially more desirable. And while the Denver Mint was generally known for its cleaner strikes and tighter quality control compared to other mints, that same reputation means any error that escaped unnoticed is even more valuable by virtue of its rarity and unlikelihood. And it's this intersection of minting precision, transitional chaos, and error serendipity that makes the 1981 penny such an interesting and potentially lucrative target for collectors, especially those who hunt through rolls, inherited collections, or unsearched bank boxes, because even though this coin doesn't have as many confirmed varieties as some other years, the extreme value of the known errors, coupled with the possibility of undiscovered anomalies, makes it a goldmine waiting to be uncovered. And as new errors are cataloged and auctioned, the community becomes more aware of what to look for, causing market demand and prices to steadily increase for the most dramatic examples. And so if you happen to come across a 1981 penny, whether in a coin roll, an old jar, or tucked into the back of a drawer, don't dismiss it as ordinary just yet. Inspect the date and mint mark for doubling or repunching. Weigh the coin if possible to rule out off-metal strikes. Examine the edges for signs of broad strikes or missing rims, and hold the coin under light at multiple angles to detect clashes or ghost images, because even the slightest abnormality could be the first clue that you're holding a 5-figure treasure, and while not every 1981 penny will hold such value, the fact that even one in tens of millions could be worth $20,000 proves just how exciting and unpredictable modern coin collecting can be, turning everyday pocket change into life-changing discoveries.